I tell people all the time there's 3 different buckets of people. That first bucket that's outgoing, that's friendly, that's going out and being aggressive to welcome people. And then bucket number 2 are not going to do that, but they'll answer you. If you say good morning, I'll say good morning back to you.
Right.
Those are good.
Right.
Bucket number 3 are the people you could look them in the eye and say good morning, and they just look right through you.
Right.
I tell people all the time, you don't want to be a bucket number 3.
Brian, I just want to welcome you today to In the Box. I appreciate you joining us and just having a conversation about leadership. I know this place means a lot to you, so I appreciate you coming back.
I appreciate the invitation and just having me back. This is great.
Yeah, the thing for me is like the first time I met you, you just have this personality where people want to be around you. And I think from a leadership standpoint, is that something that you notice? Or do you know that people like being around you and they like talking to you? Or is your energy, is it just infectious? Do you think that's where it comes from?
I'm excited to be here for the renovation. The brick and mortar, it's absolutely beautiful. Looking out the window and seeing it. But you put all that aside, it's people.
Right.
And I learned at a very young age that, people are nuts.
Right.
People are motivated by all different things.
Right.
But if you can get people to do what you want them to do, when you want them to do it, how you want them to do it, you'd be successful in anything in life.
That's great.
And
great
it's
point.
people, and
Yeah.
people are people. And, when I look to bring people on our team, one of the first things I look for is somebody that's nice.
Right.
And never forgetting, don't get too high on the highs.
Right.
Don't get too low on the lows. The lows are coming. You hope for the highs.
Right.
But this is a crazy business that we're in, sports and entertainment.
That's right.
Hospitality, entertainment. It's not Monday through Friday, as you know. It's not 9 to 5.
Right.
When everybody else is playing, we're working.
That's right. It's a lifestyle, right?
It's a lifestyle. You either love it or you run like hell and it's not for you.
That's right.
You and I, this is people.
Right.
And to try to motivate people and to find people and put them and set them up for success is a challenge. And that's what you and I do.
Right.
And you and I we can come up with a great business plan and say this is what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, but we need the people to execute. On the field, you and I are much, much smarter with wins.
Oh,
on the
100%.
field, right?
There's no
Everything
question.
comes up,
That's right.
And I tell people all the time, we can be affected by what happens on the field,
Right.
but we can't be dependent.
That's
There's a big difference. Affected. Monday morning, we're smart, right? But we can't be dependent. We need a business model that is customer service. We need to listen. We can't just sell. Those days are over.
Right.
It's a different clientele out there.
Right.
And we have to reinvent ourselves because things change. And if people get what they expect, it's not good enough.
Right.
We have to exceed their expectations.
That's a very,
Can't just meet, you got to exceed.
that's right.
So as a leader, you want to find people that get that.
Right.
You want to challenge people, but they need to have that buy-in. Here's the objectives. How do we get there? Now you come up with how we're going to get there, but then you and I have to hold people accountable.
Right.
And that's the tough part.
Right.
There's a lot of friendships in this business because you're working untraditional hours. There's peaks and valleys.
Right.
And it's across the board. So it's a people business.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, obviously the first time I met you, it was in Tampa. You gave me a tour of the Bucs facility. And obviously in your role with the Bucs, if you go backwards and talk about, okay, where did you come from? Kind of just tell the story, briefly of like, okay, where you came from, how you got to Florida State, what was your connection here? I know you're very involved with the Dedman School of Hospitality here. Just kind of tell us your story.
Yeah, no, it's a different, unique story, out of everybody else in the league that not sports management, not sales, but hospitality, food and beverage, entertainment. And I was with the same company, Fine Host, for right out of college. In fact, in college, going to Florida State here, I would only take classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I worked for the largest food and beverage company. That's how I got into it. Ogden Allied, based in New York.
Ogden,
big company. And they paid for my school. They paid me full time. And they said, you're ours. When we don't have a game, it was Joe Robbie Stadium, the brand new stadium in the Dolphins in Miami. I grew up a Dolphin fan, grew up in South Florida. It was like, put a kid in a candy store. And this is, the brand new stadium compared to the Orange Bowl. Suites, club level, air conditioning.
What are we talking about?
And this was back in 1987.
Okay.
And, from there, that Ogden Allied, I would take classes up here and drive back and forth or get flown to wherever.
Right.
And I got hooked. And right when I was getting ready to graduate, I went to them and I said, I've got this offer with this other smaller company, and I'm going to take it. And make a long story short, I took it. That company was Fine Host. Ogden gets purchased by Airmark, disappears. 5 years later, I'm sitting in my office, phone rings, and it's that same guy that I resigned with, who told me I was making the biggest mistake of my career, and if I was his kid, he would just hit me. And he's like, pick me up at the airport tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm your new boss. So I learned really quick never to burn a bridge.
That's
Be
right.
Respectful.
Small world.
It's a small world. But he went on to be a mentor of mine. His name was John Record, and it was a lot of life lessons. And I lost my mother when I was very young to leukemia, and grew up fast. And I landed in Tallahassee, Florida State, and into that type of business, going back and forth. And I was with that company, and I married my middle school sweetheart, high school sweetheart, college sweetheart, and moved her all around the country. 8 stops.
Wow.
And always promised her I was going to get her back to Florida. Didn't know how.
Right.
And we went as far west as Phoenix, as far north as Pittsburgh, and had one kid in Austin, Texas, one in Atlanta, Georgia, and then all of a sudden the Bucs new stadium comes up, and that was in 1998. And they said, "You want to, go back to Tampa?" And I'm like, "Sign me up." And that's when I met the Glazer family. Yeah. And met Malcolm Glazer and Linda Glazer, and they had 5 sons and 1 daughter. And she's tough because with 5 brothers.
Gotta be. Right.
Just the ultimate family.
Yeah.
And they operate a business from a fan's perspective, and I have the utmost respect. And it's been just a ride.
Right.
But I tease them all the time because it took them 9 years to say, "Come work directly for us."
Right.
So for the first 9 years at Raymond James Stadium, 2 Super Bowls, I was the food guy. I headed up all the food and beverage at Raymond James Stadium. I think I look at my role in a whole different way than others across the league because I was there.
Right.
If I would have had this job in Tampa and then went on the team side in a different city,
right,
it would have been a little easier because people wouldn't have looked at me as a food guy.
Correct.
But I wouldn't have known the characters and known the backstory and known what the challenges were. So I really had 9 years of prep to understand the Tampa Sports Authority and Hillsborough County and the Tampa, city of Tampa and the whole, what worked at the stadium and what didn't and what the events were and the people. And, so it's been, I'm one of the few that could say I've been to every Buccaneer game at Raymond James Stadium since 1998, since we opened. Wow. I went through a renovation, and but again, I get back to it's people. Correct. It's the entertainment business. I've had seasons where we picked number 1, and we picked a young man out of here, Jameis Winston. Right. You don't get number 1 by winning games, so we've been to the bottom. And we've picked 32nd after a big Super Bowl win where we were the first team. I used to say the only team, but the first team to play in a Super Bowl in their own stadium. Right. That's right. Talk about from one end to the other.
That's right. You lived it all.
I've lived it. Yeah. And, even before when we had the Super Bowl and I wasn't on the team side, I got that aspect. So I've been very fortunate. And
so let me ask you about, because in college athletics, the phrase is once an intern, always an intern when you're promoted internally.
Yes.
So for you being the food guy, what challenges did you face remaking yourself without having to literally tell people? I mean, what was that process like for you?
Yeah, no, it's you got to lead by example. And, I tell my boys, they're both, in the business sort of, and I tell them first in, last out, and treat people right. Listen, be responsive. When you say something, do it. And so you have to, I've had to lead by example. Right. And there's no better way to describe that than doing just that.
That's right.
Whether it's the hours, whether it's understanding, whether it's getting to know the fans. I mean, we have some of the most passionate fans, but I could sit up in my office and never know anything about that.
Right.
And if I want our folks to come out and be interactive with our fan base, you got to do it.
That's right.
So whether it's training camp or the draft or just being part of it or going out and talking to the Rotary or talking to the chamber,
right. So
being accessible.
Yeah, and leading by example.
Leading by example.
So where did you learn the leading by example? Is that natural to you? you think? Or was
Yeah,
it
it's just-
you watch people?
We watch people, and it's just coming up. We all have our different,
Yeah.
ways of dealing with stuff. I tell people all the time, there's 3 different buckets of people. That first bucket that's outgoing, that's, friendly, that's going out and being aggressive to welcome people. And then bucket number 2 are not going to do that, but they'll answer you. You say good morning, I'll say good morning back to you.
Right.
Those are good. That's good, but that's not going to lead an organization, in my opinion. Then bucket number 3 are the people you could look them in the eye and say good morning, and they just look right through you.
Right.
I tell people all the time, you don't want to be a bucket number 3, but bucket number 1 might be a little excessive. But in our business, in sports and entertainment, you got to be a bucket 1, in my opinion.
Right.
You got to be outgoing. You got to know, the guy that's spending $1 million, know who they are.
Right.
Know who their family is, know what their hot points, what their business objectives are, and what their goals are for this relationship. But you also need to know the guy up in the upper deck that just bought 1 ticket with his son.
That's right.
And comes once a year. They're equally as important.
That's right, and they both mean something to you.
They both
right?
mean something.
Yeah, and I think that's very true. And again, from personal experience, watching that, watching you do it, but also what we do at Seminole Boosters, talking to our staff about, like, when you walk through the parking lot, everybody there's got a story.
Yes.
They've got a journey, and they have a connection.
Yes.
Right. And so I think it's very important, like you said. The part for me that I'm thinking about is it's an inverted service model where for you, everybody else, you're serving.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way
And
I
you don't
watch
know,
you.
Yeah, you don't know who that person is or what day they had, and if you can make a memory. And we have a very, very unique opportunity in sports and entertainment. We have a platform, that people will listen, and we can bring awareness to our goals and objectives, or from a philanthropic standpoint. That, and I appreciate your help and support. Every year I shave my head for pediatric cancer.
Right.
It's amazing what we can do to help others that are challenging A to Z.
Right.
Whether it's the Ronald McDonald House or Special Olympics or the military. And in my role, it's a privilege.
So let me ask you on that. I'm noticing your hair has grown out now.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you shaved your head?
I do that after mini camp every June.
Every June.
So we've
you
done it
shave your
11
head.
years, and
Yeah.
a little boy or a little girl. Every year I say, you got to promise me if you're going to do this that none of the grays are going to grow back.
That's right.
Every year
It
the
keeps
gray
coming
grows back.
Well, it just goes back to leadership, because you literally shave your head, raise money
A
for
little boy or little girl shave it.
Oh, that
Sometimes
is-
it's nicks
yeah.
and nannies. And the whole premise of that is, we had 20 children, boys, girls, their siblings, and their parents come. And some of those came straight from a hospital, straight from radiation, straight from chemo. And we put out a red carpet. We had our cheerleaders, our drum line.
Right.
They walked in like they were celebrities. And we
That's
gave them
awesome.
a tour. They got to see, they went shopping. We set up like a little team store in the back, and they came out with all the chains and everything.
That's awesome.
Some of those kids hadn't smiled in months.
Yeah.
And their parents would come up to me with tears in their eyes saying, my son, my daughter hasn't smiled.
Right.
What you're doing today. And that's all I needed to hear.
Right.
And to get all of our staff behind that and to see that. And I don't care what it is
Right.
that's important to you. I want you to be you, I tell our team all the time. We all got to give back. And we have a platform where we can. So choose whatever that is.
Right.
And be proud of it and do it. And, so leading by example for them to see what we're trying to do, but that's priceless to hear a parent say that my son or daughter has not smiled in, 3 months, and now they're giggling and they're laughing.
Very personal.
And they're having fun shaving your head. I said,
Yeah.
I don't make a good bald guy, but I'll do it every year.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
it's a fascinating business that we're in. It's a people business, and we live in paradise. Tallahassee, Florida, Tampa, Florida. Think of all the things that our clients, our customers can spend their disposable income on. Think of all the many things, from golf to boating to beaches to performing arts to other professional sports
Travel,
to collegiate
everything.
sports to travel to everything. And you and I are trying to fill a stadium.
Right.
You have to say thank you. You got to exceed expectations. You got to reinvent yourself. You got to, on game day, it can't be the same show every day.
Right.
It can't be the same. What's new, what's different, how are we going to do it? If we could control wins and losses, we both would.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
We can be affected by what happens on the field,
Right.
but we can't be dependent.
Yeah. There's no question about
There's
that.
that.
So you mentioned the Glazer family. Like, and what you learned from them. Tell a couple of things that they taught you, mentored. Like what is it that you took away from them and probably still use today?
Still, I mean, they're just a fascinating family. Again, 5 brothers, 1 sister. They all have a different passion of the business. Mm-hmm. So I know exactly who to go to depending on whatever that may be.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And family, fandom, doing it right the first time, paying attention to the number 2, and relationships, and not making decisions short term, but long term.
Yeah.
And give you a couple examples. I mean, Raymond James Stadium, it's the longest running naming rights sponsorship in all of sports.
Oh, wow.
Could we have jumped and tried to get more money, especially after a Super Bowl or after this? Absolutely. But it's that relationship.
Yeah.
And, I could pick up the phone and call them and say, can you talk to somebody on our behalf? And Tom James would make that call.
Right.
So it's those long-term relationships that they are, just committed to.
Right.
And, you talk about competitiveness. They want to be number 1 on the field. They want to be number 1 off the field. Mm-hmm. And they want to rethink. And they give me the resources to be able to do it, but they hold us accountable to do it.
Right.
And they look at it from a fan's perspective. And that's what I admire most.
I think the NFL, don't you win? You've won the award.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It's the voice of the fan.
Okay.
And I credit the Glazer family. It's their mantra. They want to exceed our customers' expectations. And, we do a lot of surveys. You do a lot of surveys. We want to know. Tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
Right.
And but be responsive to it and adapt. We come up with a great game plan. If it's not working, let's call an audible,
That's
just
right.
like they do on the field.
That's right.
And the voice of the fan. And in the last 11 of the last 13 years, we've been number 1 in overall customer satisfaction.
That's
9
incredible.
years straight.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't happen. And some of those years, with surveys, when you're winning, surveys are easy.
Right.
When you're not winning, surveys are, but we try to find the issues before they're issues.
Right.
On every game day, we put 100 "How may I help you" representatives throughout the stadium, in the parking lot, at the walk-up gate, to try to find issues.
Right.
We got a 28-year-old stadium.
Right.
Things are going to happen.
That's right.
Traffic's going to happen. It's open air. There's no air conditioning. But if we can turn a negative into a positive,
Right.
what a positive.
Yeah.
And, so I tell people all the time, I'm not trying to avoid it. I want to know it.
That's right.
Because how can we correct it? Because the worst complaint that either one of us can get is the one we don't get.
Correct.
So the silent complaint is the killer.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what? I've decided to move on. There's nothing you can do to change my mind.
Right.
So it's a waste of my time to tell you about it.
Right.
You and I don't even want to hear those
No,
words.
that's right.
Tell me what it is. And I might not be able to get you there,
Right.
but there's a way to get you there.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that because I actually yesterday had a conversation where those words literally were used to me.
Yeah.
It's, well, I don't want to waste your time because I know there's something more important than what I'm going to tell you. And I thought nothing is more important than what you're getting ready to tell me.
Right.
And so we'll see how that story ends. But I do think it is the premise really with what we try to do. And I've picked up, like just watching you and getting to know you over the last couple of years. And I mentioned energy. I'm the same way relative to I have a lot of energy. I walk fast. I want to go because I want everybody to have a great time. I want them to be excited about being here. Doesn't mean we don't have challenges.
Yeah.
So for you, like as you're leading and you get hit with a challenge, whatever that might be, and winning and losing obviously is one that we all deal with. But outside of that, give me an example of something that just got you and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to take a step back and think about how are we going to handle this?
Yeah, no.
Is there one you can think of?
It happens all the time. One that I cringe, especially this time of year with weather.
Yeah.
And trying to get people into the stadium early. We try to make every consideration and try to think it all through, but Mother Nature is Mother Nature. And just recently we went to open up, lines are ready, open up the parking lots, and we get a lightning delay and stay in shelter, and I got to bring all the employees in because their safety is our concern. And think about it in your own shoes. It's a Friday afternoon.
Right.
You've fought the Friday night traffic to come to this game, and you're just getting up to the parking lot to enter. And I close the gate and say, I'm sorry, you got to continue down. And now you got to get at the bottom of the back of the line. But I got to keep traffic moving. I can't put the employees or the fans at risk. So, those are the tough decisions when
Right.
it's not customer savvy, but it's in their best interest.
But it's the right thing.
And it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
you and
good.
I make decisions all the time with one agenda. What's the best decision based on the information you and I have at that time?
Right now. That's
right
right.
now,
That's right.
for the best of the organization, our fans, our employees.
Yeah.
You got to take the personal out of it. And
Right.
it's easy to do the personal,
Right.
especially when they're standing in front of you and saying this, I just want to
Yeah.
make this exception for you.
Yeah.
And we're both parents and trying to be consistent. You know, you got to treat all kids the same and make decisions. So whether it's sponsors or suite holders or employees, consistency
Right.
is probably the toughest thing in leadership,
Yeah.
because it's not always the easy way, but we got to do what's the right way that's consistent.
Yeah.
And we bring folks together, and I never worry about somebody saying, hey, they did this for me and I did this, and because we're consistent.
That's right.
And I think everybody respects you for doing
Right.
that. They might not like it out of the gate, but if you explain it. So
Yeah.
leadership is it's all of the above.
That's
You know,
right.
you want to be ethical, you want to be part of the community that you're in, you want to represent the brand. Getting back to the Glazers, I mean, they make it so easy to do the right thing because that's what they expect.
And they're going
And
to
I
do that.
know that.
Yeah.
I know how they would handle.
Right.
We had a player just recently, that came in with a number and won his draft. He selected this number, and now all of a sudden we've made some cuts, and his real number came available, and he wants to change it. And I've sold quite a few jerseys with that other number.
Right.
But you know what? We're going to honor that and say, you bring in that old jersey, we're going to replace it with the right jersey.
Yeah.
Do we have to do that? No.
Right.
But that's who we are, and
That's the right thing.
It's
That
the right
makes
thing.
sense.
And it's in this business, if you do the right thing with the fans' interest at heart from the get-go,
Right.
and you guys do it every day here, and
Yeah.
I see it in the improvements that you made here at Doak, and you could have done everything under the sun, but you looked at your client base and where you were going to make the most impact to the most people. And hats off. You did
Yeah.
a great job, and congratulations. I can't wait for Saturday to unveil it.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that, obviously we all got the folks we still like to talk to about trying to get them to like it, even though we can't control that. It still eats at me when someone is like, well, I really don't like what you're doing. And I know that in leadership, there's times where like, hey, we have to make decisions and move on, but it doesn't eat at you a little bit.
No.
And so.
And you want to explain it.
Yeah,
And
I do.
And,
I do.
And when people hear it, most people, it resonates.
That's
and,
right.
But it's a fascinating business. It's
Yeah.
fast paced, and
That's good.
It's an honor to be here with you.
Well, I appreciate it. So one more question for you, just about the young people coming up today. So there's a lot of talk about the way kids today, workers today, different generations and all that stuff. What leadership advice? What advice do you give, especially young people today, on what to do?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and we're both faced with it because it's a generation that has different priorities, and you want to respect it, you want to listen, you want to hear it. And the biggest example I can give you right now is working remotely. During COVID, we, as a league, we kept that season intact, and we didn't miss a game. In fact, that's the year that we won the Super Bowl at Allen Stadium. But we had to send all of our business staff home, and they had to work remote, not for a year, but for 2 years. So it was a tough transition to bring them back because we were successful.
Right.
We did everything that we needed to do. But this is a people business,
Right.
and this is the entertainment business, and we need to collaborate. We need to have everybody there to understand where Project A takes it up to this point. Now this department's affected, and what are they looking at? And you can't do that virtually. You can't. And so the best advice again that I try to tell our folks is, again, look at the value of us being together, and I
Right.
try to show examples,
Right.
and I try to have them experience it. Is it light? Because people got used to working, in their
Oh, yeah.
pajamas with, Ruffy sitting around the corner. But
Right.
this is a people
That's
business, and we have to adapt. We have to change, and we'll never stop hiring. I'm very proud of Super Bowl rings and very proud of the customer service and accolades that we've received. But one of the other things very, very proud of is our retention of people. We have 246 people in our business side,
Wow.
and 71 of them have 10 years or more.
Oh, wow. That's
with our
remarkable.
organization. So
Yeah.
trying to attract the best, but retain, and trying to keep them challenged. And how do you do that? You listen and you. But one of my biggest frustrating parts is when we lose people, because I have somebody that's been here that's not moving,
Right.
and then somebody underneath them can find an opportunity that we can't provide
Right.
elsewhere. Happens, every year.
Yeah.
And I swear there's a lot of organizations out there that are looking at our roster to try to,
Right.
I'm their recruiting center, but we would never want to hold anybody back.
Right.
And it's proud. And we've had some real success stories where people have left and come back.
That's right.
And led. And,
Yeah.
I've even helped some of our staff find positions.
Right.
For positions that, there's a director here and they're not leaving because
Right.
they love what they've got. That's a credit to what we're trying
Yeah.
to do, and we want to retain and bring it. But so it's this newer generation wants it, so we can't tell them they're wrong.
Yeah.
Perception's reality.
That's right.
So we have to, adapt to what their challenges are and what their needs are, and listening.
Yeah.
Whether it's an employee event or we try to listen and incorporate any ideas that they have, and
Right. I
have a
think
great
that's
HR
important.
department, and
Yeah.
great executive team that we all come from different walks of life and different backgrounds, and it's a fascinating business,
Yeah.
one that very proud to be in and humbled to be a part of,
Yeah.
and I don't take
That's
a day
awesome.
for granted.
That's
I'm
awesome.
still the old food guy, so
That's right.
so to be getting
Yeah.
up every morning and coming in, or being able to interact with peers like yourself, it's a privilege. It's,
that's great.
It's a great industry.
Well, I do have one more question. I said I was going to ask, but across campus, I know that you're involved with the Devon School of Hospitality,
Yes.
Sports Management, Business School. There's a lot of things that you're involved in on campus. Tell us a little bit about that. From again, I know that again back to leadership, but also serving.
Yeah.
What is that for you?
We're all in a role that, we were all there at one point. We were all coming up in our careers, and I'm sure you could list a group of people that made a difference and an impact on you. And I had a lot.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I lost my mother so very early. So, there were a lot of people that were influential and made, gave me an opportunity when I might not have had that opportunity. So, when looking at the, Florida State University and, the College of Business and the Sports Management and the Dedman School of Hospitality, those kids are there, and I'll always take a call. I'll always answer questions, and it might not be between 9 and 5.
Right.
Bear with me. But to give back, and this university has done so much for me in the interactions and the doors that it's opened,
Right.
and the alumni. And, I meet Florida State Knowles across this
Everywhere.
country,
Right.
everywhere. Every game I go to, every city I go into.
Right.
My son's relocated to Manhattan. He's
Oh,
taking
wow.
a great job and he's just got his law degree, and he found the Manhattan Seminole Club.
Oh, that's
up in
awesome.
Manhattan, New York.
That's
so,
awesome.
For me to help what's here, it's only helping my mission as well.
That's right.
And it's important for us to encourage and to inspire and to tell a story and interact, and and if I can recruit somebody along the way and they say, hey, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might be a place that I'd love to work, that's
Right.
success.
Yeah.
But all of the colleges here, if they call, I'll answer.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
That's just that's the Knowles. My wife went here. My two sons went here.
Yeah.
They lived on Warrior Way.
Oh, that's awesome.
They were roommates together, and they had a dog named Chief. So we, as a family, bleed the garnet and gold, and
That's
are
awesome.
proud to be here, and proud what you've done to Doak Campbell Stadium. And
Yeah.
we're going to win on Saturday night.
That's right.
And get it back on track. But
That's right.
great organization, and if I can ever help Florida State, that's just. I think it's important to. People in our business to be able to give back, and
Right.
there's a lot of opportunities and it's a crazy business, and people have to get into it for the right reasons.
Right. And I think, like you said, you never know because it's such a small world. But the thing I will end with is the way that you operate your life, and you talked about kindness and being nice, is a great homage to Coach Bowden.
Yes.
And he would just be kind always. And
Yes.
the hats that I see. And so I just want to thank you for really proving that nice guys can finish first. And I appreciate the way that you operate, your friendship, but also just the way you lead. So thank you for today. I really appreciate your support, and just enjoy you and your family. So I appreciate it.
Appreciate
Go
your
Knowles.
friendship. Go Knowles.
Go Knowles.
Thanks again, and let's do it.
That'd be great. Thank
Thank
you.
you for all-
Appreciate it.